All right. This is the third time I am doing this. Yeah. Hi. I'm going to talk about Nope today. Nope is a movie that was made in 2022, and it was directed by Jordan Peele. Fantastic blend of sci-fi, horror, comedy, all the shebang, while having a lot of really cool themes that I'm going to talk about. Spoilers throughout the entire essay. I'm going to be talking about it like you've watched the movie and you know everything that's going on, because there is a lot to talk about. Viewer discretion is advised. A lot of intense themes in this movie and in this essay, and I think one of the major ones is I am going to be talking about lynching for a little bit. So, yeah. In Nope, M and her brother OJ are walking through Fry's Electronics looking for cameras to catch what they think is a spaceship. In this scene, M coins the term the Oprah Shot, and she kind of, actually, I'm just going to play it quick.
Fuck cyberdominion. This shit right here is a moment, our moment. We set it up, release it the right way. Man, I'm talking rich and famous for life. We go to the most credible platform to do the story.
What's that, like Oprah?
Yeah, like Oprah, for example. After that, everybody want in.
Well, I'm saying there's plenty.
I was very curious what the Oprah Shot meant, so I started surfing a lot of the Oprah Winfrey Show, and I came across an episode about Charla Nash. In 2009, Charla Nash got mauled by a monkey, and she went on to the Oprah Winfrey Show wearing a veil. Pulled off that veil to reveal her disfigured face as a result of that monkey attack, and she did it to a international now audience. This is Charla Nash's Oprah Shot. It's intense, for sure, and obviously Jordan Peele knew that because he adds a character, Jupe's co-star, that has a very similar appearance and similar veil that hides her face. But what Charla Nash is doing is she's taking this horrible, terrible thing that has happened to her, and she's turning it into shock and awe. She's turning it into a spectacle. The spectacle is a theme that's really consistent throughout Nope, and every character has their own version of the spectacle, or as OJ calls it, a bad miracle. M is hoping to do something similar to Charla Nash, in a sense that she wants to take this horrible thing that's happened to her, which is Jean Jacket, and turn it into her 15 minutes, turn it into this spectacle. I think the Haywoods, on a greater scale, as a whole, are affected by Jean Jacket, and most notably, Otis Haywood, their father, dies because of him. There's a theme throughout the movie about black bodies getting abused and exploited for entertainment. It's present in Otis Haywood's death. I think his death is a little on the nose, but that's kind of the point. He dies as a result of capitalism, literally. This is his Oprah Shot. It's a nickel going through his eye. And capitalism is what killed him. Capitalism is what killed his business, and capitalism is what put the lives of his family in danger. I think capitalism as a whole is related to Jean Jacket in a sense, because throughout the movie a lot of motifs surrounding money and capitalism are present, including M and OJ using Monopoly pieces in order to plan out their photographing of Jean Jacket. And Jean Jacket himself is this symbol of white supremacy. He's this unidentifiable, ubiquitous thing that people can't seem to understand or wrap their heads around, but it gets to the point where Jean Jacket is clothed in white, and the sound of his eye pulsating at the end of the movie is the sound of whips. I don't think it gets more blatant than that. There seems to be this through line in Nope of white supremacy and capitalism commodifying the trauma that M and OJ and Otis Haywood experience. I came across an article while researching this titled "The Commodification of Black Trauma in Film" by Kuicmar Phot. And in this, the author is complaining, justifiably so, about the lack of good representation in Hollywood for black narratives. A lot of the black narratives that they have seen are revolving around black trauma and themes of racial inequality, police brutality. It seems that the only narratives that are being made about Black people are either slave narratives or ones that contain themes of racial inequality. And in their words, in imaginary worlds where characters can have magical powers or dragons, why is racism considered a necessity? And I think that is really important to think about, because at the end of the article, the author lists a bunch of movies that they think do a good job at portraying unique Black narratives using sci-fi or fantasy elements. And some of those include The Wiz, Sister Act, Into the Spider-Verse, Black Panther. I think Soul was one of them on there, but Nope was on the list. That's interesting because that's the one we're talking about. All of the films that they mention at the end of the article contain themes of racial inequality and Black trauma. For some reason, in the world of Hollywood and entertainment, all Black narratives have to exploit Black trauma in order to be successful. We're going to dive deeper into the Black trauma issue by talking about a non-Black person. One of the other notable characters in Nope that interacts with Jean Jacket is Jupe. Ricky Jupe Park is an Asian American, and he owns a theme park just down the valley from Haywood's Hollywood Horses called Jupiter's Claim. Jupiter's Claim is Western themed, and it has a show called the Starlight Lasso Experience, where Jupe feeds the Haywood's horses to Jean Jacket as a source of entertainment and spectacle. Jupe also has an exhibit inside Jupiter's Claim from his time as a kid actor on a TV show called Gordy's Home. Gordy's Home is a sitcom about a chimp living with a suburban family, and in one of the episodes titled Gordy's Birthday, the monkey that plays Gordy went crazy and killed a large amount of the cast, including mauling his co-star, who we see at the Starlight Lasso Experience and has similar disfigurement as Charlie Nash does on the Oprah Winfrey Show. The exhibit consists of multiple articles from that episode, including Gordy's party hat and a shoe from one of the co-stars that fell off of her and wouldn't fall over. That shoe is Jupe's Oprah Shot. It's the spectacle that he is trying to commodify in order to reap some benefits. And I think it's important to note, we've talked about Jean Jacket being this representation of white supremacy. Jupe is trying to tame it. Jupe is trying to assimilate into America and white culture by A, making his theme park a Western themed park, and B, trying to tame Jean Jacket. He thinks that he can satiate this monster, this animal, by feeding it somebody else's trauma. Yeah, white supremacy does not matter who you are, and it especially doesn't matter if you're trying to pander to it and assimilate into it. It will devour you. We're going to take a break from talking about Nope and talk about Dana Schutz. She was born in 1976 in Detroit, and she is a Brooklyn-based painter. I would call her style surrealism. She uses a lot of abstract colors and shapes to draw figures, and notably, a lot of her paintings contain Black figures. In 2016, she made a painting called Open Casket. An open casket is a painting of Emmett Till in his casket. Her style of painting, her surrealist style of painting, means that Emmett Till's features were undecipherable, even more so than when he was lynched. His face is a mess of browns and reds, and this sparked outrage in the art community. One artist, Hannah Black, wrote that it is not acceptable for a white person to transmute Black suffering into profit and fun, though the practice has been normalized for a long time. Dana Schutz's response to this outrage was that she was relating to Mamie Till as a mother and totally disregards her Blackness, which in its own right turns both of the Tills into a spectacle. Aesthetics for Birds is a blog that talks about this artist, and they call her a trauma feeder. Trauma feeding, by their definition, is making trauma into a consumable spectacle that adapts well to a neoliberal art market by extreme wealth and capability inequality. Now, Aesthetics for Birds is a high art blog, and they go on to talk about museums being built in such a way that doesn't promote actual internalization and reflection and empathy. It means that patrons can see the art piece, gasp at it, feel whatever they need to feel, and then get on with their day. I think this can also be applied to the medium of film. Can be applied to Otis Haywood's death. I think his death is strategically used as the opening hook in order to prove that Black bodies are so easy to be used as this vessel for spectacle, for entertainment. And then we get on with the rest of the movie. The Aesthetics for Birds blog is saying that Dana Schutz is taking black trauma and profiting from it. Effectively, Dana Schutz, Jupe Park, and Oprah all do the same thing with Emmett Till, the Haywoods, and Charla Nash, respectively. Oprah's a curious case because almost all of the figures that she has on have gone through some shit. She is profiting off of their stories. And now she is one of the richest people in the entertainment industry because of it. To quote Aesthetics for Birds, I don't want to get on about Oprah for too long because that's not what the essay is about, but according to Aesthetics for Birds, in regards to Dana Schutz's open casket painting, what Dana Schutz did was opportunistically capitalize on historical trauma to stand out at the Whitney Biennial. Jupe is doing the exact same thing. Ricky Jupe Park is opportunistically capitalizing on the availability of the Haywood horses to feed Jean Jacket. He is capitalizing off of the trauma that black family has gone through, and he's using it to make money. Trauma can only be commodified and exploited by those who experience it. Charla Nash can commodify and exploit herself, but Oprah has no right to. The Haywoods can exploit their trauma and get their Oprah shot, but Jupe has no right to. And Mamie Till can display Emmett Till as a spectacle because that's her son. Dana Schutz has no right to do that. And especially when these white people take these black narratives or black trauma and spin them into their own thing for profit or success, it limits black narratives and it limits the amount of voices in a space that actually understand that trauma and that lived experience. I've been sitting here talking for 23 minutes about exploiting black trauma, and I'm a white man. I do think it is important to note that there's a difference between exploiting and educating. I don't think this is a theme or a subject that is really talked about much in regards to this movie. And I am also not making money off of this. I am not doing this to be successful or entertain. I'm doing this because people need to know about it. People need to understand how intense and lucrative and detailed the themes in Nope are, because I think it is a very, very beautiful and horrifying and very intentional movie. But roping all of this back in, Em and OJ get their Oprah shot. The ending ends on a very hopeful note now that Em and OJ can save their ranch. But I am very curious to see what would happen to these characters after the camera's cut. When Em and OJ talk to those reporters, they'll get their 15 minutes, and then once these photos of Jean Jacket start circulating, somebody's going to take them. Somebody's going to take their photos and tout them as their own. And Em and OJ are going to get their 15 minutes, but that's going to be it. Just like Charla Nash, she's going to appear on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and then Oprah Winfrey's going to make the money off of it, not Em and OJ. Earlier in the film, Em talks about a horse that she almost trained named Jean Jacket. There's the alien Jean Jacket, and there's the horse.
For my 9th birthday, I was supposed to get to train Jean Jacket. But then Pops got some Western, and Jean Jacket wasn't mine no more. Classic Otis Sr. I distinctly remember standing right here at this window watching y'all train my horse. My horse.
I fear that after the movie ends and Em takes her Oprah shot, the same thing is going to happen. It's going to get seen that there's value there, and somebody's going to take it from her. I have a feeling that OJ named the alien Jean Jacket because he knows the entertainment industry a lot better than Em, and he understands what's going to happen with those pictures of Jean Jacket once they get out. Before I'm done, the blog Aesthetics for Birds also mentions that high art spaces need to have a call to action in order to prevent themselves from trauma feeding. They realized this in their own exhibit when they found people staring at their piece and then walking away. There's no responsibility on the museum's behalf to ensure that people are getting something out of their experience there. I think this should apply to film as well. The people who can watch Nope and understand what it's about and then turn the TV off and put something else on are effectively doing the same thing as museum patrons who look at open casket, gasp, and then walk away. And I'm not doing the same thing. I am creating this video for more people to understand how often black trauma gets commodified in Hollywood. And now it's time for you to do something about it. I'm not exactly sure what that is. But whenever you look at a piece of media, dig a little deeper. Dig a lot deeper. Thank you.